Welcome everyone to the Precious Treasure Immortality series. This is segment 9. Anuk ast Maat tefnut. I am ast Maat tefnut. Anuk means I am. So this series, I not always, majority of the time, I have been here along with my Sba-t, Ptah Secret Asar. This evening, he will not be here with me. He actually, he won't be. Now, Sba-t Queb has been here a few times with me as well, and he plans to be here. Those of you who follow the show and or Tesha Para, either way, you know that Sba-t Queb is on the road a lot, so him being here or not, we'll just expect him to be here. Let me give him this text right quick. Hold on. All right. Apologies. So again, welcome everyone to the Precious Treasure Immortality series, segment 9. Sba-t Secret Asar will not be here this evening. Sba-t Queb may be. Either way, we are continuing on with this this broadcast, and I'm going to give you a short on expectations, and then we'll continue on. Now, I had a few days ago, a series that I created called "Take the Gregorian Calendar Down from Your Wall," and hold on. All right, apologies. Take the Gregorian calendar down from your wall. This is the Abet month. Abet means month of Sobek. So each month I'll have that series. And so Sba-t Secret Asar wanted me to recap that broadcast on this series of the Precious Treasure Immortality. So I will be starting off with that. Also, then we will be listening to, excuse me, an 18-minute audio CD. And this CD usually comes with the purchase of, or unless you get the calendar for free or a gift. Either way, this CD would come with the calendar. We have recently changed this CD into an MP3 option. And so we'll be listening to the 18-minute CD of my Sba-t Secret Asar, speaking to you of your cultural cosmic collective consciousness spirituality. And after that, I will be going on with the planned portion that I had to share for this evening. And of course, if Sba-t Queb comes anywhere in there in between time, then he will be presenting. I'll interrupt where I'm at, so he may present his presentation on your real birthday, on your real birthday, and then I'll continue on. So, but first, I want to address those who are in the audience who have chosen to leave a comment, and then I'm going to perform my Hesi, and then we'll do all the stuff I just named. So here we go. In the comment section, we have Rael Sankofa from YouTube speaking peace and blessings. Dua Sba, Rael Sankofa from YouTube. I appreciate you being here again. I've seen you here before, so it's good to see you with us again. And the Hamet, which means queen, Hamet Kai Creatress from YouTube, sending love as always. That's her. She's love. I appreciate this Hamet being here with me, and all those of you who are not commenting but you're here, I appreciate you just the same. And of course, I see we have my brother Sba Dua Di Calico here from YouTube. Queen Mother Goddess Dua Wu. I'm sure he'll have a comment or question to share, and I'll be more than happy to share that with you all. There are a few others I'm expecting, so I'm looking forward to sharing their comments as well. And we're going forward here. So now I will perform my Hesi. My Hesi is so that I may speak to you, so that my words are true of voice, so that I am found to be victorious and righteously great, to command the cosmic forces that allows me love, guidance, and protection through the daily experiences of ponderable matter, and so that my words are also splendor to the ears of the ancient ones, the Quatnet Rus, and the ancestors. So at this time, I will begin. Hetepu, Dua, Duau, Anazarek Ramech, Imhotep. Greetings and divine greatness, divine excellence to the first families, to my Nagas, Shamsuharus, Nesubitis, Mutnatarts, Sba-t, and Hamets, the immortal ones of Maat cherished, of the phenomenon of precession, new age order, great golden age of Maat Hapi Asar, and to all citizens, descendants of the Nile Valley Cultural Cosmic Collective Consciousness Spirituality. O Ra Never Teshurah, the she and he, the mother and father of all existence, the master and possessor of light and radiation, of heat and movement. We ask that you bless us humble servants for Ankh life being now present, for we seek the counsel of the ancient ones and practice daily the ancient Maatian ways and ancient Maatian truths. We strive evermore to become one with thee in this world and in the existence to come. We ask that you bless us on this, the 83rd Haru. We ask that you bless us on this, the 83rd Haru after the helical rising, 277 Haru remaining until Ubin Sba-t, Sba-t Cyrus rising, Upawat Samai Tawi, Weprin Pet Digit Heb, the 11th Haru, 3rd Abet of Sobek, 2nd Haru of Jehuti, 23rd Haru, 3rd Abet, 1st season of Shamu Rinpet, number 10, AFNK/ST after founding of New Kemet, Naga Kemet, Samai Tawi, phenomenon of precession, New Age order, great golden age of Ma'at Hapi Asar. We ask that you bless our families and friends and all those of us who gather together to worship in your most holy, sacred, and glorious ancient Tamarian name of Ra Never Teshurah, for in the art of seeking you there is much comfort. So as it is spoken, so shall it be written. So let it be done, so shall it be, for now and forever forward. Ra Never Teshurah, Panatara Pu, Pama'at Ankwaz Dejed Ank Ujasaneb, Ubin Nefer Iker, Panebu Haru Ma'ati, rising always in divine excellence with Ma'at all day, every day, Dua, Duau. So I have just performed my Hesi and the Calico Dua, Sba-t, Sba-t. Okay, I'm not sure what you're saying, but I got you. We got you. We're here. I appreciate you being here. All right, now moving forward. Oh, so if you saw the opening screen, I'm gonna share once more. I will be giving away a free calendar. Now, I'm giving away a free calendar. I have 2 segments that I'm presenting. I'm giving away a calendar from segment 1, based on take the Gregorian calendar down from your wall. I bet Sobek that I did a few days ago, based on the feedback from my audience, I compiled that broadcast. So either way, we had a pre-meeting to prepare for that broadcast so I can get everyone's feedback and present back to them their feedback. I failed to give away the free calendar I said I would give away. I got excited and there was a lot going on, so apologies. I'm giving that calendar away today. The question and answer will be provided in section 1 of my presentation. Segment 2 of my presentation, I am giving away a calendar. The question and answer will be provided in the segment. I'm giving away that calendar in the absence of my Sba-t secret Asar, he always comes with the gift of immortality, the knowledge for you. So in his absence, I'm giving away a calendar as a gift to you from him on my behalf. All right. So terms and conditions with the calendar. In short, you answer the question, you get it right, you want the free calendar. I will need your mailing address so I can mail it to you. I will need your email address so I can send you the MP3 of the CD that I share with you. And I will need your email address also so I can send you the free PDF of the Cosmic Egg that comes with the calendars. Okay, this is, so the calendar I keep speaking about. This is the Ancient Khemetic Rasaurian Calendar. It is solar, sidereal, and lunar. And with the assistance of my Sba Kwame, he's not here right now, but he added value to my last build. And this is a 3-in-1 calendar. Apparently there are some things that Sba-t secret Asar says, and it goes over people's heads, or they just not connecting the dots. There are, of course, I found out some things I'm saying that people are, or they not connecting the dots. Apologies. I will take your feedback. I will share your concerns, and then I will represent it. So this is an effort to represent. So when I am sharing that this is solar, sidereal, and lunar, I am knowing, I am implying that this is a 3-in-1 calendar. Okay, so that's the feedback Sba Kwame had for the audience that I was not sharing, so some people could get it, what I'm saying, my message across, translated properly. This is a 3-in-1 calendar, solar, sidereal, and lunar. It's for the 2020 through 2021 calendar year, and this is the Crumb TV edition. Brother Crumb, go to his channel, YouTube, check him out. He has a Branch of Knowledge channel on YouTube as well. You can check him out on Facebook as Crumb Snatcher. He has group pages on Facebook as well, Crumb TV. He has plenty of knowledge there. He is Sba-t secret Asar and myself and Sba Ramutef Web, and has been guest on his show as well. So some acknowledgement to my humble brother Crumb there. We also have East Wind here. He speaks peace and love from Facebook. Peace to you. I appreciate you being here. Dua, dua, ooh. He's here often as well, so I appreciate you being with us again. Dua, dua, ooh. All right. So, yep, 2 calendars given away today. I need your email address and your mailing address to get the complete packet to you properly. I appreciate you. All right, so segment 1 of my presentation is a recap of the show from a few days ago for, it's called Take the Gregorian Calendar Down from Your Wall. All right, so this is some feedback that I took from the audience to be able to prepare this presentation a few days ago. There was a question about an astrology article, and the link to the article, you inbox me, I'll send it to you, no problem. It's here in the presentation as well, but you know, some people like to copy and paste links, so you can't do that through this visual here. Inbox me, I'll send you the link. Either way, this is the title to that article. And the Hamet, the queen who asked about the article, she wanted to know what Tesha Para, some of us in this school thought of the what we thought of this article. So we shared our feedback, and I'm sharing mine tonight. Hamet Tanika Marie was there during that presentation a few days ago. She speaks peace and greetings, gods and goddesses, from Facebook. Hamet Tanika Marie, dua, dua, ooh, peace to you and yours as well. Sba Ramutef Web is here with us, so we'll bring him on at this time. Dua, dua, ooh, Sba Ramutef Web, how are you?
The can fair upon the top upon my uncle the jet, Uncle Josh and Neb, Uben if he care upon the boo, my IT too, everyone on the broadcast. and on the platform, as well as the listening audience. Dua, dua.
Dua, Siba. Siba Ramutef Queb, would you like to tell everyone who you are and where they can find you, and then perform your Hesi? I'll introduce you into your Hesi when you're done sharing who you are and where they can find you.
All right. Anouk Ramutef Queb. I am Ramutef Queb. I'm the global distributor of the Rasaurian Solar Lunar Calendar, the Ipetaru Shabitum Twaharu Pama'at. I'm also I'm also a scribe and of Tetra Ra. You can find me on Facebook as Ramutef Queb. You can find me on Instagram as Ramutef_Queb. You can find me on YouTube as The Cosmic Thoughts. I'm also chief executive of astrology for the Nagaship Association and its institutes. And now, before we begin, I would like to gravitate the listening audience to our present moment in time and space, or ask permission of the ancient ones, the Aku, the ancestors, the living ancestors, for permission to speak. And I will begin my Hesi. Hetepu, Dua, Duau, Anazarak, Ramech, Hotep. Greetings and divine greatness, divine excellencies to the first family. Mount Naga, Simsa, Aruz, Nesubitis, Hamets, Sibas, Mutnatas, the mortal ones of my chairs. Phenomenon, Precession, New Age, Order, Gregorian Age of my PSR, and to all the citizens and descendants of the Nile Valley cultural consciousness, spirituality. And Azarak, or As Rumuk Kwat Nataru Panebu, the mother of the Netarus, the mistress of Pet, the maker of mankind, she who is mighty in Usa Medinefer Hekahu, divine words of power, mother of all initiations. Bless us, humble servants, for Ankh life now present, as we seek the counsel of the ancient ones and practice daily the ancient Maatian ways and ancient Maatian truths. We strive evermore to become one with thee in this world and existence to come. We ask that you bless us on this, the 83rd day of the year, after the Hinoku rising. 277 days remaining to Uban Supta Cyrus rising, Upawat Samatawi, Ratman Pet Tejahe, New Year celebration. The 11th day of the third month of Sobek, the second day of Tehuti, the 23rd day of the third month of the first season of Shimu, year number 10, AFNK/ST, after the founding of New Kemet, Naga Kemet, Samatawi, Phenomenon, Precession, New Age, Order, Great Golden Age, and my PSR. We ask that you bless our families, our friends, and all those who gather together who worship in your glorious ancient Tamarian name of As Ramuk Kwatnataru Panebu. For in the art of seeking you, there is much comfort. So let it be spoken, let it be written, let it be done, so shall it be, for now and forevermore. Ra, number Teshara, Panata, Pamaat, Onk, Watch the Jet, Onk, Ujasaneb, Uben Nefike, Panebu, Horu, Maati, rising always in divine excellence with my eye, all day, every day. Dua.
Dua, Siba Ramutef Queb. How you have a few moments to be here today, or do you have to leave?
No, I'm here. I'm here.
Okay. All right. So I'm gonna continue on with my first segment I'm sharing, and then I'm going to have you speak, and then I'll continue with my second part, and we'll end the show there. I plan to only be here an hour and a half this evening, so we're going to move forward. Then right quick. So Matt Leslie is here from YouTube. She speaks greetings to the family. Dua, woo, Hamet.
Dua.
She's both time, always definitely here from YouTube. Dua, woo, Hamet. Okay. So I was looking at sharing with you. So this So yeah, Sibyl Ramutef Queb was part of this Facebook feed, so he is familiar with this article. And since he is here, and at any time, Sibyl Ramutef Queb, if you have feedback on this article you want to share with everyone, while I recap, I'm just recapping. If anyone wants to see what I had to say in length about this article, they can look at the show, the broadcast from a few days ago. All right. So again, this is the title of the article. I am giving away 2 calendars. The first calendar I'm giving away, the answer is on this slide right here. So if you're here now, you've got the answer in front of you. I may say it again later during the show. Ramutef Queb may say it later. But if you're here now, you have the answer in front of you. Those who join later, either way. So what I had to share about this article in brief, and I shared portions of this article. The article in length, you'll have to go to the website and get it. My first issue with this article was in the title alone. The word zodiac is used, and in Tesha Parah, we are taught. Now, right quick, I want to share with everyone, and Sibu Ramotep Queb is here to add corrections or value to what I'm sharing. Tesha Parah, which means the Holy House of Ra, is not a religion. It's a school. It's a temple. It's a school. People have seen like this the picture I just had up with me, Ramutep, and Sba-t Secret Asar. And they're like, what religion is that? This is not a religion. Period. And I'm known to be blunt and bust up lies. I just give it to you like it is raw. If Sibu Ramutep Queb would like to buff it and pretty it up for you or any manner, please do so now.
All right, so I get that a lot too. Everybody always asks me, especially if they see me with any of these on, from my beads to my Black Panther mask to my Ankh to
And
my
hearing us say our Hesi.
especially our Hesi, because a lot of people used to think like, oh my goodness, you're in a religion or some kind of new form of religion, and I'm sitting there looking at them like, yeah, no, because when it comes to the difference between the two religions, when it comes to just religion alone, we all know it's a binding system. We all know that most of the stuff that's in the books is all over the place when it comes to not just history, but myth and everything else. Then they start to tie it in with astrology and all kinds of things, which is pretty cool and all. However, dealing with a school versus a religion, we're here to be taught or to bring out certain aspects of ourselves so we can be able to grow into it and expand with it versus a
And
religion where
become
you have to
teachers
pay.
ourselves.
Correct. Because as we always say in the school, Seba means student and Seba means teacher. Because the student has to surpass the teacher. And at this present time, a lot of people have to get to the point of knowing instead of believing. Because the more that you believe in things, you end up getting limitations in a sense. You'll get to a certain view and then you come right back down. You'll ride that wave of going in a cycle, such as perpetual continuance. Now, when you're knowing just keeps you on this plateau that just keeps rising, and it's moving at a certain pace, depending on how you learn and how you retain information. So as you keep going up in those levels, it becomes an infinite status within your mind, where you start to unlock all kinds of levels and things of that nature. So for people to say it's a religion, they're out of their minds. They're out of their freaking minds, because everyone has a certain ritual. Everyone has a certain what's that word called? Uh, prayer system, in a sense. Meditation is a prayer system, for one, but people don't call that a religion. Then you have herbal practices, right? That's like communion in a sense, but people still don't call that a religion. So when a person is telling you about time and gravitating you to your present moment in time and space, for that to be a religion is outright ridiculous. So to get those two understandings, you gotta ask that same question like I asked myself as well. And it's 4 primordial questions. Who am I? Where do I come from? Why am I here? Where am I going?
Dua Usiva. Ramontel Queb, he said that very well. I appreciate you complimenting my aspects. So yeah, I'd like to add to that in short. There people some people do not know the meaning of words, so they're blindly using words. And so I think, well, I'm saying when Siba Ramotep said it is or is not, yes or no, a religion, religious means things you do like repetitively, something you do, like you wash your body, you do it over and over, you do it every day, wash yourself, you eat every day. That's a religion. That's what you do religiously. Some people take religion and it's like, oh, you praying, you got your God, you're in a church, you're in a temple. Okay, yeah. Okay. See it how you want to see it, call it what you want to call it. Either way, this is not that. Dua, dua.
And then I tell
Okay.
people sometimes, this is what I actually tell people. I let them know straight up. For myself, once I learned about the cosmic A and find out what it was, when I tell people, if you want to find God, look up CBR, cosmic background radiation. If you want to see God, look in the mirror. You know? So it's like when people gotta get that understanding of who is where things started, because that's where it all begins. Because with any and all stories of what's the right way to put it, of our story and other stories, there's always a creation story. And in anyone, they're all kind of similar, but at the same time, when you bring the proof to the pudding, it's a whole nother ball game. Because then that whole veil is relieved from your eyes, and you'll start to ponder about more than what you were subjugated to. Because most of us on this platform and most of us on this planet were, how you say, groomed into religion versus allowing us to experience our own.
Yes, well explained. Dua, dua. Seba L. Moore, the Universal Humanitarian, is here with us from YouTube. He speaks peace. Of course,
Peace.
he does. That's what he does. He's so peaceful. I appreciate you being here. Seba, he and I share a platform. I'm on a few shared platforms. I have my own platform. And when I say platform, I mean broadcast studios, broadcast areas. So we have a shared broadcast area. And I appreciate being able to share this knowledge to his audience members and to his viewers. So again, Dua Siba El Moore, the Universal Humanitarian. All right, so going back into this article, and again, this the answer for the first free calendar is on this slide. So again, in Tesha Para, we know that zodiac means zoo, and many of you know that as well. We know the proper name, the proper term for zoo or zodiac is phenomenon of precession. Okay? Phenomenon of precession. So when we say that at times, we're speaking in another language and you speak it as zoo or zodiac, we speak it as phenomenon of precession. Thank you. We have here the legend, which is currently on the back of the calendar. Siba Ramotef Kweb and myself are both official global distributors of the calendar. So we're both able to speak to you and answer questions concerning the calendar itself. Here on the outer ring, it moves counterclockwise, so it precesses. And this is what you may know as the zodiac. We call this right here the phenomenon of precession. These other rings move in a clockwise manner. Super Ramatef Club, you want to add to that? Nope, it's okay. Yes.
From doing a lot of studying
Mm-hmm.
and literally focusing on that with that new it's not even new, but it's how you say a lotus blooming within the calendar from the tracking of the sun that I've been doing for 3 years. So when you start to put the whole puzzle together, that ring itself, the precession, tells you a lot how things are what's the right word? Um precession, how we're moving through time and space in a sense. So knowing that we have the star Sba-t that's right there with the I think it was with the star that's right there in the middle, right under
Right here.
Kepler, correct? So just knowing that right there as the new year following Sba-t reveals all within our not just our galaxy, but within excuse me, within just our plane of existence to the firmament and to the expanding universe. Because that's basically what you're seeing is the expanding universe. But it's just on paper or on a legend, as we call it. So breaking it down, you have the precession as the outer ring. You have the second ring in, which is the seasons of the northern southern hemisphere where most of us are located, myself and the Hamet. When it comes to the third ring, you have the seasons of Kemet, starting with the blue being Shimu, the green being Aket, and the red being Per. And then there's a lot of talk about that particular thing, and that's a subject that I'll get in later in certain other segments. I'm sorry, to explain why some people will say it's Aket and some people will say it's Shimu. At this present time and within our quadrant of the cosmic rift into the age of Aquarius, it's Shimu for however long it's going to be. Still tracking it a little bit, but at the same time, it's there, especially in the new diagram that we got. So as we keep explaining and explaining and explaining, eventually everyone will see why, especially over here, why it seems like our seasons are changing. Because over in Kemet, it does the same, but it's at a slower pace. Over here, it changes like a clock. So right now we're in what we would call fall, right? So by the time we get to a certain period of time, couple hundred years, couple thousand years, summer's going to, how you say, precess itself. So eventually, when it comes to the first day of the year, in a sense, for us in the northern southern hemisphere, the season's going to change until fall being the first day of the year, which is going to be pretty cool. Well, from my understanding, it's going to be actually pretty cool to actually witness that. Because right now we actually are witnessing because we're in that stage called climate change. There's 3 stages that this planet goes through as we go through the precession, especially when we're in the cosmic rift. First is global warming. Next is climate change. Third is environmental relapse. So, from my understanding, I'm looking into that part itself to find out when, how, where it's going to start. So, those generations after us won't be so surprised. There's going to be a lot of surprised people, but they won't be surprised. And I'll give it back to you.
We'll see them. Let's see. Okay. So, so you mentioned, now this, I'm going to share this because there are times that we speak um, the meta nature, and there are words we're using and people are not sure what we're saying. So it kind of throws off um, them following or them being where we are. So I want to share a few that I caught that I heard you say, and I'm going to share those right now. So he mentioned Seba was talking about the star, and he mentioned Kepra. He said it's there by Kepra. Kepra is right here, and it is what you would call Cancer, possibly. Some of you know this as Cancer. So this is Kepra. It's Khpra. And Soptit, we in our Hesi speak about this star a few times in the Hesi, and Seba also mentioned the season of Shamu, the blue one here, Shmu. And this season we speak of at least twice in our Hesi that I know of. So we say this, including in our Hesi, and we don't mean to speak over people, but it is my intention to, when I am aware of it, make the translation, make the connection, so you can be with us more. So I just wanted to share that right quick. Mm-hmm.
And then if folks want to how I started off doing when I got into the temple, if you go back to the diagram, I'll show you how I learned it first before I was looking at the calendar.
Mm-hmm.
So we said, well, today was the 83rd day of the year, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you would take the star and literally shift it in a sense to 83 days, right? Then we have 277 days remaining.
Mm-hmm.
So if you do the math in a sense, you can see it, but you have to visually see it, like project it, use your imagination to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So when it comes to, I'm gonna go from the day of the week all the way to the month. So
Mm-hmm.
by the star subject, you'll see the orange tab on the bottom right
Mm-hmm.
there. So that is Ra, is what people will call Sunday in a sense, but it's actually, we call it Ra. So if you were to count Ra to Ra, that would be 10 days.
Mm-hmm.
Now, today is the second day of Jehuti. So all we do is go to the second ring. I'm not the second ring, the second sun on the right. And bam, there's Jehuti right there. Now we say we're in the 11th day of Sobek. So if you look right above it, you'll see a blue uh, Metanetra symbol. You'll see an alligator over a temple. That is the month that we're in. So we're 11 days within that. Then, if you talk about the season of Shimu, right, we should be basically closing it in right in there. Then, when it comes to our seasons over here, you go to the next ring, we're in the fall. And then, when it comes to the astrology part of it, is you go all the way up to the green where Ost is at, and that's where we're located as far as reading it from this calendar. So there's two ways that you can do this. Either you look at the legend and do it, or you go by the calendar and work your way into that.
Yes, to help you remember.
Well,
Dua,
Super
Dua,
Kwame.
we'll see with Kwame from Facebook. He is one who I knew would be here and adding value. I appreciate what you're adding. Dua, Usiba. Okay. So I just wanted to share that with you all. Now, going on with this article. So this article, it speaks about the ancient Egyptians first created star paintings from the 3rd millennium BC. These then turned into a 12-character zodiac. I mentioned how it was, if it turned into this, that means it was something beforehand.
Mm-hmm.
So who turned it into a 12 zodiac calendar? Because it doesn't say who did it in this article. It just said these then turned into that. Of the
Babylonians. I'm
zodiac.
sorry. Nothing.
Like it just happened on its own. It just transformed into a 12-character zodiac. These
Mm-hmm.
articles can be so misleading if you don't look into them. You just reading along, and some people just read along and go with it. So then my what I wanted to share was the 12 versus the 13. Because in Ramu Tefquev works with the legend and the astrology in Tesha Para. And I know he is working on what you all may know as Ophiuchus. Do you want to add to that, Seba Ramata, this slide?
Sure do. So,
Okay.
recently we appeared on Transatlantic Production, and I was able to read the Seba Minister Clemson Brown his reading. The one thing that gave me conclusion to that 13 aspect is just knowing the story of Asar. It was that whole program was just very beautiful and how in sync it was to be in the presence of someone I've never met, but I've watched a lot of his content. Didn't know that was an individual, and then to speak with him and for him to bring up Asar, Unefa Kenti Amenti is what we know him as. And anytime you look on the Meta Nature, before he got chopped up, he was just known as Asar. But when he got chopped up, he became Asar Unefer Kenti Amenti. You have Asar, Unefer, the divine being, and Nefer, divine being, Kenti, Amenti. Kenti meaning he who dwells, he who has the main, and Amenti means the west. So as I was telling the version of how I came into being, of how what I call what we know as the phenomenon of precession, what I call it the Neteru star timeline, is understanding how the story reveals itself just within those 13 signs in a sense. And as you gravitate yourself back down to our plane from the celestial firmament, it starts to click of how the stories go. And then when you learn about the 72 conspirators, then you'll start to notice their what's the right word? Their their aspects or their I can't think of the word to say it, but their story,
Quality, characteristics.
their characteristics and their story is within the cosmos. Because a lot of people are not that at a certain point of time, the star Sba-t, Orion, Sirius B, and the Pleiades, you won't see for 72 days. And when you can't see it for them 72 days, on that 72nd day, you're going to see the star rise again, but you'll see the Pleiades, then you'll see Orion, then you'll see the star Sba-t, Sirius A and Sirius B. And that's how you start to put the cosmology together when it comes to dealing with the story of Asar, Set, Haru, As, Nebhet. And then when I came dealing with the 13th sign, it has many names. But those many names, you have to break it down to its most primordial essence. When dealing with, I would call it Nebhet, and then masculine, we call it Nebuchadnezzar, to the 12 hours of the day, 12 hours of the night. And when you start to sync everything together, it starts to give weight or how you say, give balance into the scales when you put it to the scales of a Maat. So when I named it Nebhet, it gave it more validation because we should know by now by doing how you say his story research and then just actually finding out those stories within our own story. You'll come to find out that that constellation itself is feminine because they kept the constellation of Virgo, what we call us, the only feminine sign through the whole zodiac. But there's actually two. But I take that back. There's actually three, unless you have twin men or twin women or, a boy and a girl twin in a sense. But as you start to progress and you cut down and reveal that veil from your eyes, again, you're going to start knowing versus believing.
Yes, definitely. Okay. And going on with this article, in part, it went on to speak about the Egyptian zodiac was inspired by the Babylonians and ancient Greeks. Okay, my concern with this sentence was ancient Greeks inspiring the Egyptian zodiac. Because they're using the term zodiac, yeah, the Greeks probably did inspire that. They made up the Egyptian zodiac to take away the knowledge what we're sharing today. So sometimes we speak of things being whitewashed. This right here has been zodiac washed by the Greeks, and I personally cannot take anything from the Greeks as a source, and I'm not going to read this because you all know how to read. I'm not going to talk down and read this to you. But this right here came from a presentation I did on Crum TV. And in this presentation, it was called Astrology Decoded Part 1 and the Western Astrology
Yeah, I
Decoded
think it
Part
was part
1.
one.
Yeah, and in this, I also shared this and from this screen here. And in the comment section was Seba Ramutef Queb. At the time, I didn't know who he was. And this is how me and him met in the comment section. And I contacted him to see, because myself at the time, I was in the comments. He had stuff like this. I'm hold on, I'm playing right now. I'm not playing. I'm so serious though. I was I was I was a guest on Crum TV, and I always um, acknowledge the comments after the videos because some of them are not shared and I want to address everyone. So I was seeing stuff like this. And I was like, what is cop PR? I was just like lost. I'm like, why has he got all these next to the Cancer and Taurus? And so what he was doing was giving me the actual name of these signs. And I learned so much from Ramutef in our first conversation, and I've been learning from him and Seba, Ptah Secret Asar, and all the other Sebas and Sba-ts in Tesha Kara. It's an experience. It really is. But yeah, at first I was like, what is he talking about? Okay, this is weird because I'm looking like I can't even. What language? What is that? Did he miss some letters? What is he saying? Why has he got all this in the comment section? That's just a distraction. But nah, he was adding value, and I appreciate him for speaking up and speaking out on that day. So here, I am here. So again, the Greeks, they give us stuff like this imagery right here. And seeing is how we're a people of sign and symbols. I think it's totally disrespectful that they give us stuff like this and then want to take credit for inspiring anything. I'm going to keep it short. I'm moving on. I also shared this symbol in the Crum TV video. I was using this as a part of the presentation on glyphs and how the glyphs change. There are some of the glyphs are of astrology, Western astrology. They have the ancient version, the modern day version, and some of them are soon to change versions. This right here in astrology is known as the sun glyph. So this represents the sun in your chart. I'm not going to speak any more on that because it's Hellenized terms and we're replacing all that. This is Ra, what I know is Ra. I also know this is an eclipse. And let's see, Ramutef, you want to share something about this?
Under the temple is something that Ptah has taught many a times. He always say, what is the first written and spoken word? And that symbol that you see right there is the first spoken and written word. Because during that time, when the Ramech or the ancients, or not even the ancients, the ancestors at that time, when they seen an eclipse for the first time, they seen that glow that it does. So if you look at the diagram, you'll see a dot with a ring. That ring represents that glow that comes from the eclipse. And when the ancestors look at it, the Aku seen that, they called it Ra. For me, I say because I'm practicing with the meta nature, because when you look at the word Ra, right, you see the R with the mouth, that's the mouth, and it's always open. Then you see the bent arm. So from learning the basis of meta nature, especially with the A, there's three A's in a sense. You have You have an A, which is the leaf. You have the vulture, and you have the bent arm, or the fig leaf, is what he would say. And the vulture is like like a loud A, you know, like when we say hey in a sense, but even though that's with an EY, you know what I mean? Then you got the soft A, or like the baby A, and they say when it's like in a sense. So it's like how a baby makes their first word, like that's that type of A. Then you have the bent arm, which in a sense, if you take it in its phonetic value, when a person has their bent arm is when they're taking their last breath. So it's so when I say raw, as I've been practicing, is you know, but we know it as ra because we are uttering it, because that's exactly how our ancestors did it in a sense. But for myself personally, I've been practicing as the mouth with the bent arm, and then taking in phonetic value, and it's uh bilateral in a sense. It's like you're taking your last breath, but you're exalting that last breath or releasing it in a sense. And I'll give it back to you. I apologize.
No apologies. No apologies. Dua, we appreciate the value that you're bringing today. So yes. Did I change the screen? All right. So then, segment 1, they spoke about. Now this is where Siba Ramutef Queb added value, and I wasn't quite sure what you were sharing with me. So this is the perfect opportunity to extend what you were saying. So it says some signs appear 2 to 4 times in a single year. Just the math here alone, the math is in these words 2 to 4 times. You see the same sign in a sync. Could you share? Because to me, that's it don't make sense. Could you share with us what you see there?
Personally, yeah, like it truly doesn't make sense, but I see what they're giving at, because it's like when dealing when dealing with the calendar in a sense, or dealing with uh their their own type of system of zodiac, folks is always trying to find a different way to master but replace. When it comes to replacing it the way that they done it, it's almost like um dealing with the that I've seen a couple times with the Ifa or the Yoruba type, when they try to make their certain people try to make their zodiacs in a sense, and they try to give, they know that certain orishas have certain amount of days, and with those certain amount of days with them certain amount of colors. So when I see something like that incorporated into in a sense of the Kemetic style, if I can use that term, it starts to click in my head, like, all right, I see what they're trying to do. This individual must have learned Ifa or Yoruba or um, or any other spiritual system, and try to relate that same concept within there. But when you actually see these signs, it depends on what sign you're looking for. Are you talking about the Nimu? Or are you talking about the Nimu is the 36 deacons or 37 deacons, depending on which ones you're talking about? Um, you're talking about the what's some other stars? The circumpolar stars in a sense, because there's just a lot of constellations that go with them, but they're in this, vortex of a void that they, spin at a certain pace. Then it's also, are they speaking of the planetary systems? There's so much that you can go with that, but to give people a certain amount of days, and then the corruption itself is already in there when you talk about January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, so on and so forth. Then on top of that, you have the 7 days in a week, and you're using those terms to connect with uh, our spiritual practice, and it doesn't work, because if you're putting something on a 7-day calendar, 8-day calendar, 10-day calendar, you're on a lunar cycle calendar, no matter what. 10-day all definitely works because it's within our calendar. However, you try to put a 7 or 8 day, that's not working. It's not working at all. It's going to be all over the place. You try to make end up turning into a 365, 366, 367 type of day count, And like some people will tell you about the turtle shell and things of that nature, but they don't understand if you make that 13th month, if you use that 13th month, you're going to incorporate those 5 extra days. If you don't know how to sync it within 360, it will never work. But that's my take when I seen that particular thing and I looked at the dates. Hey, do you have that part in the slides too? When you look when they had the dates for the Netchers for their 2 twice. Is that for us? Yeah,
This for
that's for us. No, I'm for the
mhm.
article itself. They had a
For the
list.
article, I shared a few. I shared the Nile,
Yeah, there you go.
Amun Ra, and Geb. These only 3 I shared.
Yeah, so it's like
Mhm.
for you to keep jumping, especially with the now. So if you want to do anything with the now, you have to correlate that to the season of Shamu. So a lot of people are not aware of that. The Khemetic Ramech also had their own holidays, and it started from a certain period of time. Most people will see from either starting in July 25th. Some started from July 18th or 17th all the way to July 25th or beyond to September 11th in a sense. So within that time period, from we'll say July 18th to September 11th, they have a certain a lot of times or certain a lot of days for their holidays. So when you see that schematic that you had put up, it's in that same format how they were trying to do it. They were trying to implement the holiday system within their zodiac signs. So you had January 1st to 7th. That's corrupt right there. The now does the
Mhm.
now doesn't rise and recede in no January. That's the violation right there, as we say, cancel it. So then you have June 19th to the 28th, right? So that's almost as similar to the sign of Shu and Tefnu, or what you know as Gemini, in a sense. So it's like, how are you correlating that day with the twin sign when this is for the now? Am I mistaken? Yeah, for the now. So how are you putting the Shu and Tefnu in with the now? Then you have September 1st to the 7th, right? September 1st is still dealing with the constellation of Sekhmet, in a sense. Then you have November 18th to the 26th. That's dealing with I want to say uh, Upawat, Maat, and Serket in a sense, starting in within Serket. So for you to keep chopping things up in a certain order when those actual signs that you're trying to correlate to don't appear like that, that's just a whole Hellenized version that you're giving people for them to use to incorporate themselves into a new manner, but it still is not synced with the cosmos. Why put yourself on something that's not literally synced with the cosmos? And then that lets me know that the person who did that did not even go outside to do the work themselves, let alone being an astronomer themselves, in a sense. And I'm not here to, bash on it, but at the same time, you got to make sense of it. And if you don't make sense and explain how you did it, so others can follow your work and validate it, I have no words for it. Really don't, because it does not literally go through sync. Because I gave you the certain signs within those dates without even, what I mean, looking at it. Because I know it from the, how you say, the Gregorian style, because they use that same style. So when I see a certain sequence number, I know, like, all right, I know what they're getting at, in a sense. Peace and love to you. Peace and love to you. So it's like when you put things in order, you have to put it to the scale. That's what I was taught in the temple. You got to put things to the scale, or you bring it to the rematch and let them decide.
Yes. Let them decide. So there are times when, and I just had this conversation a few times before this broadcast today, in my private life, and I share with someone how sometimes I just know things. I don't know how I know. I can't explain it. I just know that I know. I may not be able to tell you all of the details, but I know something. And in this one right here, um, I'm not familiar with Egyptian astrology, but I definitely knew that something was going on with this sentence right here, and I appreciate Seba for clearing that up. It just wasn't feeling right, something. So I appreciate that.
And I would like to add one more thing. And
Mhm.
then if I want to help validate that, right? So I can say that a sign appears twice. The reason why I say that is for the simple fact of the four corners of the earth, right? Or we know it as the four pillars of Pet, or the Shimsha Harus, the followers of Haru, or the children of Haru who hold up the sky. They have the four corners, which you call the cardinal points: north, south, east, west. Was it north, south, east, west? Yeah, I said them all.
Yep, you said
I'm going too fast for myself. So if you put that in perspective, oh yeah, those signs definitely pop up twice, but they're only allotted throughout a 360-degree cycle. So say for instance, the sun goes into Sekmet, right? That recently just passed. By the time it gets into what is it called? By the time it gets into Os, when it gets into Os, there's a Hinoc horizon that appears. That Hinoc horizon, you'll see the constellation of Leo like it's clear as day, for the simple fact of that indicates that we're entering into fall. And that appears on, what was it? I think it was the 21st or the 22nd that just passed when it comes to dealing with the Gregorian calendar. And then you'll see another sign that'll appear, and it'll be Scorpio and Ophiuchus, as people would know it. Then you'll see Aquarius, which indicates where we're located in our quadrant of Milky Way galaxy. Then you have Taurus, which appears for summer. So when it comes to seeing them twice, I can validate that part. But I only named four. You're giving us 12. So if you do the numbers, you only gave you eight, but you still got 12. So where's the other 12 coming from? And then you say four at that. So that's just blowing my mind right there, hands down. So it's just like, I'm not here to brag. I'm just here to uh, give you what I understand that is straight bull, and let you decide and see for yourself. But if you can find it, oh, please bring it to me so I can look, see, validate with you. I'm always down for looking at the stars. That's what I do. I'm what they would call a unuk, or a wet wa. Basically, I'm an hour watcher. I, how you say, decreed my own self to take the rest of my life, to dedicate the rest of my life every 72 years to watch the sunrise within the constellation of Aquarius and see one shift for 72 years. I'm gonna be an old man, but still healthy, looking at the sky on the spring equinox, looking for the sun to do this. Hold on, let me see if I can do it on the camera. Watch the sun do this for 72 years. If I live another 72 years, I'm gonna watch it go like this again. That's making sure that these generations after us don't have to do the work as much, but they know where to go and where to look for. Because again, as we're moving through this phenomenon called the cosmic rift, this cosmic rift is something that's a process that we go through. A lot of people that I started noticing in certain videos, in a sense, they're talking about December 21st of this Gregorian calendar, that we're going to shift into this vortex in a sense. Um, Let me be very honest and very clear. That's not going to happen. It's not going to happen, because when you're taking computer animation and you're relying on that versus actually seeing it for yourself and learning how everything moves in a certain rotation and back again. And knowing that the best way to locate anything, and I'll point to you for myself, is right here for me, where I'm located on the northern southern hemisphere. This is north. But you see how my hands are? That's north. So if I take my hand away and just basically equal it, south is basically in a whole nother direction. Then if I go over here, east is right here. And so that means west is literally behind me. So when you start to look at their diagram and you're not mapping it out for yourself, because how you say the universe itself reveals itself to you on a daily basis. But a lot of people, how you say, are looking at my finger instead of looking at the stars. And I apologize.
Stop apologizing. You good, Ramutel. All right. So yeah, I am going to right now. Oh, so we're speaking of what's not right. So the Nile, for the example. Okay, I want to make sure I'm on the right screen. So the Nile, for the example, Amun Ra, and what they call Geb, not right. The article's not right. We have provided you an image of the legend, which is on the back of the Ancient Khemetic Rasaurian Calendar. And at this time, we're providing you with what is right. Kepra is Cancer, Sekhmet is Leo. These are the dates, so on and so forth. And then this is the next one. And that's just in brief. Ramotef, you have something to share
Okay.
regarding these two slides.
And then this is a way for folks to validate those dates. So I don't know if anyone counted them all together, but if you count all those numbers that she provided on the side, you'll find out how in sync that is. Now, what myself and my colleague have just in a sense discovered, we know how to pinpoint anybody's star date to the T, to the literally to the second, which is pretty cool. I thought it was the most amazing thing I've ever seen in my life. But to know your exact birthday, and I know we know it's not a linear thing, but at the same time, when it comes to a synchronicity, in a sense, it's going to seem as a line, but as a whole, it's a level upon levels upon levels upon levels of information that is embedded within yourself through the cosmos, in a sense, and it's all encapsulated in this flesh and body that we have today. That's why they tell you that you're a galaxy, but you don't know it. But with us being within this quadrant or this plane, it's all encapsulated. I apologize. So it's like you see all these galaxies out here. If you take the time to get a telescope or go to an observatory, things of that nature, you can see these things. But take this as a note. If you were to know your star date, right, and you were to go look when the sun leaves that portion of your constellation, and you were to have a telescope or go to an observatory in a sense, and you would look and see for your star, you'll be surprised what you see. Just like when I tell people about meditation, when you meditate in a sense, and you astral project and you go to different places and you learn from different beings and things of that nature. I ask people all the time, at any time that you were astral projection, did you look in the mirror? Did you look at your reflection? You'll be surprised what you see. And then when it comes to these dates of the precession, in a sense, this is how our sun travels on a 360-day cycle. When it comes to the precession itself, it moves a lot different. As the Sba-t said earlier, it precesses. As the sun goes clockwise, the precession goes counterclockwise. So that's what I was talking about, the levels of information coming all the way down from the cosmos to here. And as you start to realign yourself again, a lot of things that you once believed in, you'll start to come to the knowing of, versus being like, oh yeah, I'm gonna second guess myself here and there, and I've done that a couple times myself. But now I'm confident enough to say, like, when it's dealing with our realm, in a sense, looking at these days, when dealing with astrology, looking at these days, these are those days. However, if you're going by that Gregorian calendar of the 7 day, 8 day, 10 days, every 130 years, one unearned day is added to the calendar. So your birthday shifts every year. And when you get to the fourth year, it shifts 2 days. So by the time you turn 7, you're no longer in sync. But if your child was to know their true star date and understand the time that comes with it, it will always be on their star date no matter what. So, and birthdays to some people are very important. I come to really realize that. For myself, for a long time, I always seen it as a regular day. But when I found out that these mugs stole my birthday, oh, I took it very seriously, to the point where we are speaking to you today, when it's not even just dealing with your birthday, it's dealing with your whole existence of reality, is what we're explaining to you. How a lot of the things that they told you, and a lot of the other platforms and broadcasts that we all share and follow, you'll start to come to the knowing of certain things that you thought you knew is definitely not what you knew. So take the time out, do the work, do whatever you need to do to acclimate yourself and align yourself back into the cosmos, so everything else can be revealed to you.
Woo. All right. Briefly, I'm going to be on this slide. There is the MHA next to Aquarius here. We have said this, and not to take it granted, you know what we're saying when we read this. This M is for Maat, the H is for H, and the A is for Asar. So we say Maat Hapi Asar, and we are speaking of Aquarius. So I just wanted to point that out, because all of the other signs have the names next to them, but we Sba-t Club abbreviated this. This is Ma'at Hapi Asar that is mentioned here. Now at this time, here is the question for the first free calendar giveaway. Again, I plan to end about 8:30, so be quick. We can go over, but I plan, and we know.
I mean, I didn't even notice the time. I apologize.
It goes. I mean, first question is, the zodiac is the improper name according to what we know with Tesha Para. What is the correct name? Not zodiac is not zoo. What is it called? Thank you. So while y'all work with that, we're gonna move on here to segment 2 of my presentation. Most of it has been already covered, so I'll be able to go through it quickly. Sba-t Web has already added value, and half of my presentation he has touched on, so it's good. It has prepared you for what's next. Let me get this here. Oh, you know what? While I work with that, I know, have a presentation you wanted to share. I know Ptah Secret Sar said he was wanting you to share for a part of what you presented on the Transatlantic Productions with Minister Clemson Brown on Monday. Could you share that with us at this time?
Yes.
Okay.
All right. So what I shared was, as I spoke about it earlier, myself and a colleague, and Ptah, he was there when we did it. I've been long story short, I've been trying to get this man to put that solar aspect into the calendar, and it's like, I didn't present it like I should have. But then when I realized how I was supposed to approach my teacher to present him with information, I learned that from watching a segment off of uh um was it Shrine of Maat with Jabari and throughout to the Seba. So when I thought about it and I sat back and I looked and reflected about myself, I said that is right, because he is what you would call the Seba, but he's the teacher of the Seba, and I'm still the student. So I need to address my teacher as I should, because we're under mental, physical, temple, uh, what you call mental temple discipline methodology. So as I approached to the Seba, I wanted to show him, because when we put it together, it was like a scene from one of my favorite animes is Dragon Ball Z. It was like a fusion technique, and when we fused, boom, that new diagram that I shared on Seba Crimson Brown's platform, it came. That's what birthed out of it. It was like a big bang within the big bang, right? So this person of the calendar was like the first big bang, right? And then you'll start to learn about that if you were to enroll to the Naga Ship Association and its institutes, or with Sba-t with his one-on-one classes or his classes that he holds every Tuesday and Friday on the Gregorian calendar at 7 p.m. Or no, that's at 8 p.m. I apologize. So when you learn about the creator, it's all about the concept of
Eastern
self-creation.
Standard Time.
I appreciate that. Dua. Thank you. So it's like you start to learn about the concept of self creation. So this is the form that Ra Never Teshara took. We call it Ra Never Teshara for the simple fact of that on the lot of the meta nature, what the ancients called them, or the not necessarily the ancients, but the ancestors called that egg shape anomaly. They called it um, Neber Tesher. And if you read in the Meta Neter, you'll see that name, Neber Tesher, from the words of Neber Tesher, spoken by Neber Tesher, in a sense, coming from all type of texts. And he explains it through the series, he explains it through other platforms. So we should be well acclimated with that part. So what I'm explaining is that right there. It's like, boom, another blast that came out. It was like the big bang, the two big bangs that you end up knowing about when learning about the concept of self-creation, because that's basically what really actually happened in a sense. Because without that second one, we would not be able to exist in this outer verse in a sense. But motion is a requirement and a separation of a collective energy. So this diagram right here, what you see is that birth, to see how everything works within our quadrant of the Milky Way galaxy. So if I were to break this down, I will just take a good look at it. So we'll start with the bottom left. You'll see Set and Maat. You'll see a blue and a silver tag on the outermost ring. Again, the outermost ring is the precession that we spoke of earlier. The second ring is the motion of the sun within the precession. Then you have the seasons for the northern seven. Then you have the seasons of Kemet, the 10 months, 9 days in a week. So now, to know where we're located in our quadrant of the Milky Way galaxy, you have to know where the spring equinox is. So if you look to the far left, that line that divides uh, the two precessions is where we're located in the Milky Way galaxy. That's what the cosmic rift is. So when you look at it as a whole, you'll see how many times we go through this rift from there. And that's, going to the deeper part of it, but I'm not here to do that. But to give an example, when I was also telling about the housing system. So when you look at this as a whole, you see that all the zodiac signs are lined up solarly and processionally. So for people to claim Aries is the first house, they're out of their mind. Aries is what you would call Amen Ra. Amen Ra is a star date, meaning that that's when we were in the age of Aries, in a sense, wheel or circle. Either or, however you want to see it. It's a wheel, a circle. It's all one and the same. It's like, as we explained earlier, the outer ring is the ring that goes counterclockwise. But in that version itself, the way I already have it is where it lines up on the spring equinox. So it's like coming in like this in a sense. One is going precession, the other one's going the other way, and so on and so forth. So, and then the second ring is what you will see as the Hemet put earlier, the dates of those zodiacs that we were discussing earlier. And then you get the 10 months, 9 days, 36 days in a month, 4 weeks in a month, 10 months in a year. And then in the middle, we have Sba-t aligning with its present moment in time and space when it rises Kemet. And then when I do my astrology, in a sense, I'm using this actual diagram because this is the most precise diagram anybody's going to witness. Well, I don't even say anybody's going to witness, but we'll see, because how these things are lined up is a beautiful thing.
Oh no, that's not the answer to the question.
Oh.
Oh, I think Hamet Leslie came in late, and I did say if anybody come in after this screen right here where the answer's at.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wow, okay.
I
No, that's not
apologize.
the answer to the question, Hamet.
But just rewind the video if you can. If not, we'll get back to it. So
Yeah, I'll
as
give
you,
the answers at the end if nobody else tells it.
I know the funny thing is I've been saying it like crazy. I need to stop. But yeah, but just using this diagram, what I do is I pinpoint everything in a line. And if you was to watch the if you go back and watch that program, you're gonna see the minister's birth chart that I gave him, and it lines up perfectly on his Gregorian birthday, and it also is his true star date, or what I would call your birthright, something that they stolen from you. So every year on that lineup, when all the legend spins to that certain portion of in the galaxy, in a sense, like I said, you have to envision it in a sense. And once you put it all into one, it becomes yourself. And when as you start studying yourself, you start to know about the what they call, what I'm starting to call, is called, like, that I got from Eugene Adams, was the Mandela of two parts. So it's like you have the two paths that you've been taking. One was the one that was stolen from you, and the one that's given back to you. So as we proceed with the series, and as we proceed with the lessons and the classes, folks are going to start to find out when it comes to not just the astrology, but just your whole entire existence, in a sense.
Yes. Now, Hamet Leslie, don't be embarrassed at all. You are victorious today. You are the only one who's even speaking on the answer. So, with that being said, and to back up my word and who I am, um, they should be embarrassed because they're not answering. And definitely, if they were here to see the slide with the answer on it, so you shouldn't be embarrassed. And yes, I said if you was here to see the slide, you should be embarrassed. So with that being said, if no one gets this right, I am giving Hamet Leslie the free calendar because she
Well,
spoke up.
she did actually say it right, but she didn't say the right words.
Mhm.
When it comes to the description of it, I should say. But she did say it right, but she didn't say the actual answer. I definitely can give her that,
Yep.
because I ended
All
up
right.
saying the answer.
And I said we're gonna be saying it, so she heard it. And when I give the answer, she's gonna be like, "I heard that." I hear her saying, "I heard that. They did say that." But again, she wasn't here when I presented the slide. So no worries, Hamet. Actually, I do not think I know no one's going to tell it to us. So go ahead and inbox me your mailing address and inbox me your email address, and I will send you your calendar. This is my Gmail account for you. Send the information there, your mailing address and your email address. I'm going to send you the Chrome TV edition of the Ancient Khemetic Rasaurian Calendar, the 3-in-1 solar, silver, lunar. I'm going to also send you the free PDF of the Cosmic Egg. I was thinking of this CD, but the free. Hold on, I'm gonna send you also. I'm excited to send this to her and start studying all my words. I'm also going to send you the free PDF of the Cosmic Egg, and I'm also going to send you the MP3 of this CD, which we will listen to before we leave. But this way you'll have your own. You can listen to it when you want to and not have to play back this video to the point of the CD and play it out from there. Whew. Okay. And with that being said, I'm going to tell the answer now. It's over. So answer to question number 1 is the phenomenon of precession. Okay. This, I have shared that, hold on. Hold it. Okay. Some
Is it
housekeeping
raining
here.
already out here? Oh, wow, it's raining over here.
All right. So we mentioned that this is what some know as the zodiac on this outer ring. It is also known as being zoo, Z-O-O, zoo. This part of the ring, the stars, they precess. So they move in a counterclockwise manner. We know this in Tesha Kara as the phenomenon of precession. So the answer is phenomenon of precession. So anytime you hear us mention phenomenon of precession, we are speaking about what some know as the zodiac. And that's the answer. I'm sending the Hamet her package, and that's that. Next, okay, let me see. I'm going to go into this other presentation right quick. Hold on.
Yeah,
Okay.
Okay, yeah, there we go. I was just about to ask you.
So that we're gonna start out with the answer to we're gonna start out with the question to the second calendar giveaway, and the answer is on this slide. So these are the ancient Egyptian names of the gods and goddesses of the days of the week. They are in the outer square. The squares, this should be circle. I got this from. Anyway, day 1 is Ra. Day 2 is Jehuti, which we talked about when Sba-t was giving you the date according to the calendar, and how to read it from the legend. Day 3 is Seb. Day 4 is Ast. Day 5 is Mesta. Day 6 is Hapi. Day 7 is Tuamutef. Day 8 is Quebsanef. And day 9 is Heru. Yes, they square on this calendar. Now the question is, I need to know, give me one ancient Egyptian name of a god or goddess for a day of the week. Okay? And then we'll get you a calendar as well, and the free PDF and the MP3 of the CD. So you said you were going to ask me this, and this was the slide. Did you want to share something about that slide, that information?
No, I was actually going to just be like, let's go over the 9 days of the week. But we already, how you say, presented that information in a sense. But all right, these people are going crazy outside. So knowing those 9 days in a week, right? And then I like to tell this story of how I got introduced into the Chrome TV platform or the broadcast. So I remember Chrome was doing, I think it was his part 2 his part 2 of time is fake or time is bullshit, as he say. And he was going over the he was going over the grid of a calendar, and he was showing you how the calendar, that if you pull up a grid, they'll either have allotment of days in a sense on the sheet, or they'll always stop at 7. Why is that? And then he add that question: if there's more than 7 days, let me know, because Crumb is a brother um of knowing. He's always
Mm-hmm.
seeking knowledge, and he retains it very well, which is just amazing.
Yes.
So when I told him, like, yeah, there is 9, and he reached out and he kind of questioned me about it. And I told him, he asked, if there's 9 days or more, or if there's more days than 7, what are their names? And then, as you've seen on the diagram, that's what I gave him. Ra, Tahuti, Seb, As, Mesta, Hapi, Twamta, Quepson of Haru. And it just blew his mind. And then when I sent him the calendar, it really blew his mind. It was just like, wow, this is the actual real thing. And then the mathematics in it is crazy. And that's one thing, if you don't mind, I would like to share this when it comes to our sins and sinettes, our brothers and sisters. Um, One thing I would love for those who do have the calendar and they want to teach their kids mathematics. Peace to the brother. Peace to the brother.
You answered correctly.
Yes, correctly.
See what Mark making. Email me your mailing address. Email me your mailing. Email me your mailing address and your email address. I will send you calendar that Seba Ramutef Club has there, as well as the MP3 of the CD that we'll listen to shortly, and the free PDF of the Cosmic Egg. The MP3 and or CD and the Cosmic Egg comes free with every calendar. So you're not paying for that. You're paying for the calendar. So those are gifts. And again, this to you is a gift to you from my Seba Ptah Seeker Asar in his absence on my behalf. So enjoy your gift. And I look forward to hearing from you and Hamet Leslie and getting your calendars to you. Seba Ramutef Kweb, Dua.
No doubt, no doubt. All right, so I was explaining to Seba Mark Megan the other day about this, actually, which is I want to actually share with the Ramesh again. So I don't know if anybody noticed this. However, let me see if I can adjust it just about right. All right, so there you go. You have 9 days in a week, right? I don't know if anybody ever noticed this, but have you once looked all the way down in each column for every month? If you want to teach your child, in a sense, numerology or sacred math, this is a great tool to use so your child can know multiplications, divisions, things of that nature to that certain degree. So you have the ones, and if you keep going down, numerology of 1 is all the way down to the calendar for 360 days. And it repeats itself with 2, 3, 4. I can't even put it right. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And if you look carefully, let's see if I can put it on there. 9 is the best one I always like to point out. So you have 9, 18, 27, 36. So when dealing with numerology, in a sense, you always add the numbers. So you got 9, 9, 9. Put it all together, equates all the way to 9. Same with 8, 8, 8, 8, and it repeats itself. So if you're trying to teach your children all types of things, this for the price that we, offer, in a sense, because we're not selling. It's just basically a chance for you, your family, your generations after you to become self-liberated, because only you can liberate yourself. We can't do it for you. We can do the work for you, but we cannot actually do it physically for you. That's something, or mentally for you, because that's something you have to do yourself. So within this calendar, it's not only teaching you time. It's teaching you math. It's teaching you science. It's teaching you astrology. It's teaching you astronomy, all in one. Seasons, teaching how to grow things, all kinds of things. That's just to fathom all that information within this legend, within this schematics of how we go about our daily lives in a 360-day period, or so much you can use to teach, because that's what we're doing, is teaching in a sense. And I pass the mic back to you.
Dua, dua, ooh. All right, so that's what I had to share. I'm going to share some information here while I prepare to share this audio CD with you from Sba-t Asar. And then afterwards, we're going to close out, and we all appreciate you being here, me, myself, and Ramutef, and Sba-t Asar. We appreciate you all being here.
Yes,
here I am sharing the date, the names of the months of the year, and that information is there for you. I'm going to share some images while you listen to this audio. Dua, dua, woo.
Dua, 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 ooh. Nazarak, Ramet, Immortality. Greetings, divine greatness, divine excellence to the first families. My Nagas, Shamsarus, Nesupitis, Sba-t, Utratats, the immortal ones of Maat cherished, of the phenomenon of Precession, New Age order, great golden age of Maat Asar, and all citizens, descendants of the Nile Valley cultural cosmic collective consciousness spirituality. Many are the mysteries concerning the universe and the life that is found within it. This is also true regarding the theories, laws that govern them. Who am I? Where do I come from? Why am I here? And where am I going? All the known and unknown forces of the universe are of one origin. Necessity becomes the order by which these forces reveal themselves. Existence demands that energy be spent. Existence is realized by the expansion of energy that must have a source. In the case of our universe, life is always associated to heat and movement. But the energy that drives the entire universe is of the direct result of the self-creation of Ra Nebuchadnezzar, radiation, which produces the phenomena of attraction and repulsion, along with the anomalies of heat and movement. Ha nata apu pa ma'at, how sweet is the ma'at, truth of the Patnatarus. Was the jet, life, power, stability. Uja Sanem, life, prosperity, health. Uben Nefi Kia Pandebuharu Ma'ati, rising always in divine excellence with Ma'at, every day, all day. The knowledge of the stars is evident in the Peteru Shabik Dem Tuaru Pama'at. And you, fortunate listeners here today, will soon come to the realization that this understanding was omitted in the development of calendars of other cultures. In this text, I have mentioned a few, and will now elaborate on those other calendars and reintroduce to you the ancient African Khemetic Rasaurian solar symbol lunar calendar and its unique concept of star time. According to the New Book of Knowledge, a calendar is a system for keeping track of time. It is a kind of clock for the entire year. While a clock measures seconds, minutes, and hours of the day, a calendar measures the days, weeks, and months of the year. This is the accepted definition of a calendar. However, In ancient Tameri, Tanisha, Taneteru, Kemet, Naga, Egypt, the calendar is a seasonal time chart that was regulated and observed by understanding the precession of the stars. From a section entitled, How the Modern Western Calendar Measures Time, the basic units of a calendar are day, week, month, and year. Our modern day calendar has 365 days, divided into 12 months as well as 52 weeks with one extra day. Each week has 7 days. These divisions of time are based upon the movement of the earth, moon, and sun. Where are the mention of stars? Our most earliest ancient African indigenous primordial Naga, Shemsaru, Nasubiti, Siwasibat, Sudatat, the immortal ones of Maat, cherished ancestors, star-dated everything. In the temple of Heru, that was discovered by Napoleon's General de Saxe during the French intervention of African Egypt in 1798 AD, inside on a ceiling in an upper room, they found the zodiac of Dendra, starting with the sign of the lion, Leo, during the spring equinox. This circular zodiac indicates a celestial alignment that occurred over 38,000 years ago, making it the oldest and most complete of any astronomical charts ever found on the earth. This zodiac of 12 astrological signs, written in an African dialect, demonstrates that it was a gift of superior black minds and supersedes accepted concepts that suggest that the Chaldeans and Babylonians were the originators of astrology and astronomy, and or that zodiac with its Latin names were the result of Roman efforts. Remember, zodiac in Latin means zoo. That famous gap always presents itself. Well, let me reassure you today that 38,000 years ago, there was no Europe or Rome, and there were no Hebrews, nor Greeks, or Babylonians. The zodiac can be observed inside the squared center of the Rasaurian solar calendar. The alignment also indicates a time when the star Septet, Sirius, rose cosmically with Ra, our sun, under the sign of the great year Pisces. This helical rising of two kindred stars occurs every 1,461 years and was in unison with the Apagamor days, or Renpet, the ancient Egyptian New Year's, and was known as the symbolic year, or year of years. Now, here was an ideal model of a 38,000-year-old calendar that was in perfect alignment with the stars, and it also was rejected. Why? Let us examine the information that is and was available. The ancient Egyptians conceived of a cycle that included day and night and duat and tuat, and these periods were awarded a certain amount of time. In the modern calendar, this cycle is called a day, the amount of time it takes the sun to rise, set, and then rise again. Each day includes a period of sunlight and darkness that was determined by the rotation of the earth and the position of the sun. The ancient Egyptians, of course, they gave names to these days, and this practice is still continued. In early calendars, a month was the amount of time it took the moon to complete an orbit and undergo its cycles, recalling the very early calendars that were based upon the cycles of the moon, where each cycle of the moon takes 29 and a half days. Compiling a calendar of 10 months would result in a year that is only 354 days long. The Romans, they had 10 months in their early calendar, which ended in the month of Dise, 10, which had the shortest of years. If we add 13, we arrive at 383 and a half days. There is no correct solution if the moon is the principal inspiration. Today, it is known that it takes 365 days, 5 hours, 48 minutes, and 46 seconds for the Earth to complete a revolution of the sun, which designates a year. This created a problem of what to do with the extra 5 hours, 48 minutes, and 46 seconds. How could the extra time be taken into account? The European answer was leap year. To make up the extra time, 1 day is added to the calendar every 4 years. Because of this, many uncertainties have occurred, causing other cultures to create or retain their own calendars. From the zodiac, such as the one found in Dendra, ancient Egyptians formulated a 10-month solar calendar. This understanding is reflected within the Rasaurian solar calendar, which introduces itself as a star chart that is derived from the most earliest ancient African indigenous primordial ancestors' concept of time and space. It would please me very much at this time that if everyone listening to this recording would consider this premeditation of a calendar. In the vernacular, outer space was the timeless void of darkness before the introduction of the light. Ra was the light, and as the light moved within the void, time was introduced. Our sun is a member of a trinity of suns that played major roles in the development of our quadrant of stars, planets, moons, and life forms. The word was given, and the three stars began to move apart from one another. Their names are Ra, Sirius, and Alcyone. As this separation occurred, the surface of each was lessened by great masses of viscous matter that seemed to escape into space, only to be captured by the gravitational pull of its inceptor. These three stars highlight much of what it is that we see today as we gaze upward and outward. Our view is restricted only to the natural alignment of our Earth and our northern hemisphere. From these bodies of light comes the makings of our zodiac, our solar system, and all the visible constellations. With this natural order as their grid, the 10-month solar calendar was fashioned. Our solar system has 10 heavenly bodies, 1 sun and 9 planets. Thus, they factor together a calendar of 10 months, each consisting of 36 days, 4 weeks in a month, 9 days in a week. They developed a system of 60 seconds to a minute and 60 minutes to an hour. This was done by adding the 12 miles a second it takes the sun to travel around Alcyone. Multiplied 10 times gave them 120 miles of movement in 60 seconds, until realizing that at each cycle of 60, a new star alignment occurred. Thus, the civil year was born. It came to be understood that the civil sighting of Sirius occurred annually at the same time. The sighting of Sirius provided the answers to the number of hours in one orbit of the Earth around the Sun, which is 8,766 hours. Armed with this information, a calendar could be accurately devised, consisting of 10 months of 360 days, 4 weeks in a month, 9 days a week, and 8,766 hours in a year. What made the solar calendar so unique was its concept of time allotment, such as allotting 12 hours to the day and 12 hours to the night, and 35 minutes that were split between the duat and the tuat, the latter being the periods between sunrise and sunset, respectively. This resulted in the sighting of familiar stars at a predictable and seasonal occurrence. Each day of the year was heralded by a star that gave identity to your significance. And in this way, they related the time and the stars. Every second was accounted for, and the natural order was observed. This produced the first of the ancient Egyptian calendars and was known as a solar calendar of 360, 24 hours, 35-minute days of the year, based on the sighting of stars. This is an understanding that went beyond the moon and allowed 100% accuracy. Now, some of you in the listening audience may ask the question, did our most earliest ancient African indigenous primordial ancestors equate the moon to their calendar? Yes, strangely enough, in their own way they did. Jehuti, the teacher of Asar, was known as the Necher of the Moon. It was under his instigation that the Jehutian calendar, consisting of 365 days and a quarter day, comes into being. Because of the strong effect that the moon displays in other calendars, they are without a doubt derived from this system. The story continues in classic ancient Egyptian pageantry that weaves fact with fiction and theories that involve the movement of the stars. It was after the earth was saved from the insects and the planet was ready for humankind that Ra had forbidden the allotment of more time so that mankind could be born on the earth. Only within the existing order of time would life forms be allowed. All the other forms were created and surviving. Only mankind need be added to complete the 7 forms of life that are found on the earth. Seb, the earth Necher, petitioned Lord Jehuti, the moon Necher, to plead with Ra, the sun Necher, for an allotment of time, so that his mate, Nut, the sky Netert, could give birth to the earth Neterus. But Ra was unrelenting. It was known that the great company of Neterus would often gather and engage in games of chance. Ra was in need of someone to give names to all the forms of life which he had allowed to evolve, and in this way his works would have meaning. You see, he was beginning to grow old from the billions and billions of years of existence. He found this task too tedious. A wager was arranged between Ra and Jehuti, with the winner indulging the other. Jehuti would name all the forms of life which he had allowed to evolve if he should lose. While Shira lose, the 35 minutes that exist between the Duat and the Twat would be forfeited. In a wager that is known only to the great company of gods and goddesses, Lord Jehuti was the victor. He claimed this prize. The 35 minutes of time that he gained control of, even the exact cycle of 10 months, 4 weeks, 9 days, totaling 360. The 35 minutes when multiplied by 360 totaled 5.25 days, added on to a year that still had 8,766 hours. The question now is, how can our most earliest ancient African indigenous primordial ancestors add 5.25 days and not have a leap year? This also clarifies the final usage of the moon in our calendar. If you recall that on the zodiac of Dendra, there are mention of the Epagamore days, or Red Pet, the ancient Egyptian New Years. These are the days that were gained by Lord Jehuti. The 5.25 days that were added on to the 360-day Earth orbit are the days that the Earth Netchers were born. In the Ipeteru, Shabit Dem Tuaheru Pamaat, the ancient African Rasaurian Khemetic Solar Lunar Calendar, and the Nathanuological star timeline, they are visible in the month of Ptah, with the moon going through its phases, signaling the sighting of the star subject in the 5.25 days of observance, until the stars align again, starting the new year. These 5.25 days are accounted for by fasting, prayer, festival, celebration, and observance. Every second of the orbit of the Earth is accounted for in that singular revolution. There was no need of leap year. This is the understanding that was lost, stolen, and denied with the intervention of Julius Caesar and the Romans. It is obvious that the Romans dissected the Jehusian calendar, which is in use today, adding Latin names and interpretations and the concept of leap year. Remember, the word calendar originates from the Latin word calendae. The Ipeteru, Shabit Dem Tuaheru Pamaat, the ancient African Rasaurian solar lunar calendar and the Nathanuological star timeline, is all of these calendars in one, with 3 versions that encompasses the message that was depicted on the ceiling of the ancient Egyptian temple of Heru and Dendra. And in closing this short presentation of the Nagaship, I would like to recite the words of our great paternal father, Asar Nefer Kentiamenti, that within the whole of the universe, nothing is ever added and nothing is ever lost. Panata Pupamaat Onkwas Dejero Kuja Seleb Ube Napike Panebu Heru Maati Maati.
All right, so that, as you see on the screen, is my Sba and Ramutef Sba, Ptah Secret Asar, and we are going to close the show now. I'm going to have my Sba Ptah Secret Asar's presentation lead us out, so we have nothing more to share. He has said it all in the way he says it, which is, I know so far, is the best way that it's said. So I have nothing more to say than my closing. Sba Ramutef Queb, what do you have for us before we leave?
So at the end of the day, during this presentation itself, we have been learning about the first answer to the first question, which was, it's not zodiac, because we know zodiac means zoo. So the actual term that we would use is the phenomenon of precession, or the precession of the equinox or equinox. The second question was a day of the week,
Correct.
naming one of the days of the week, correct? All right, and knowing that there are actually 9 days in a week. And as you repeat the video and you start to go over it, just mark down those 2 key players, days of the week and the precession, understanding that the moon is used for a lot of the calendars that's around the world. And then you also have to remember within the audio clip, Ptah has said, and I've come to the realization as well, all other cultures either share the Gregorian calendar or they have their own. With the Shabit Umtwa Haru Pamaat, how you would say this is that universal calendar. Because as the days, years, months, times goes by, a lot of people will come to the understanding that this is something that goes from infinity to infinity. Atum Ra, Herhotep.
And we are closing. We will see you next time. And the words here are what I'm closing with and interpretation. Panatara pu pamaat ankwas dejed ankuja seneb ubenefer iker panebu haru ma'ati, rising always in divine excellence with ma'at all day, every day. Dua, dua'u. Peace to you all. Atum Ra Hotep.